in your bones. Most of the people that work for me, and they're that way. Maybe I raced chariots back in the 16th century or something like that. We use the museum and the automobile as a tool to teach to these kids.
The car behind me is quite a remarkable car. It's the only one on the planet. Its nickname is the round door Rolls. As you can see, it's got a perfectly round door. The grille is unusual, and in fact, some Rolls-Royce purists don't care for it because Rolls-Royce is typically a perfectly flat stand-up grille. This one is laid back. It's very rakish, very streamlined. It's a very swoopy-looking car. The only thing that differentiates this Tucker from all the other Tuckers is the bright trim around the side glass, and there's a little crest of the Tucker family on the quarter panel.
The Nethercutt Museum Grand Salon is an authentic replica of what a grand automobile sales salon would have been in the 20s, 30s, and 40s for the sale of great cars like Duesenberg, Rolls-Royce, Cadillacs, and Pierce Arrows. It is absolutely spectacular. These wonderful palaces were all over the country. Mr. Nethercutt decided to replicate one of these grand salons to exhibit the finest cars.
Messer. I'm the executive director of the Petersen Automotive Museum in Los Angeles. Petersen Automotive Museum is located on the Miracle Mile of Los Angeles. We're halfway between downtown Los Angeles and the west side, Beverly Hills and Century City. Mr. Petersen had a vision in 1948, after he came back from World War II, to do a car show here in Los Angeles, 1948, a hot rod show at the Los Angeles Armory in downtown. He figured a great way to publicize a show would be to take a bunch of pictures of hot rods that he already had done and put them in a publication, and in the middle of that publication put an ad for his hot rod show in downtown Los Angeles. That magazine turned out to be Hot Rod Magazine, January 1948. He would do these issues of Hot Rod Magazine, but always with this full-page ad of come see the Petersen Hot Rod Show in downtown Los Angeles Armory. And the magazine caught on. 25 cents a copy. First run was 5,000 copies. Sold out. Only 25 cents, but we're talking about 1948 here. If you can find a pristine original copy of the 1948 issue of January 1948 issue of Hot Rod Magazine, is worth about $5,000 today. So they're pretty rare. I drive a lot of automobiles I have of my own, and I got known here in Los Angeles very early on in my youth of being a car guy, because we used to drive a lot illegally at first, and then before we were 16 years old, we'd be out cruising around in our parents' cars as they'd gone out of town for the weekend and stuff. And it was a high-risk deal because you didn't have a valid driver's license. If you had a wreck, you would have been in a whole lot of trouble. But, it made us kind of daredevilish and, oh, look at those guys, Messer, and his gang, they go cruising around. Gasoline and oil in my veins doesn't come from anywhere. It's just something that's in your bones. Most of the people that work for me, and they're that way. Maybe I raced chariots back in the 16th century or something like that. You don't know. Racing was in my blood, and being from Southern California, it made it very easy to go to different races and stuff, especially when you got your own car. Everybody we've ever asked to borrow their car, we've never had a problem. We always insure the car. So people have the confidence that the car comes in the museum, it's going to be well cared for. So in a sense, sometimes these people get free storage. They can take their car and put it in here, and it's free storage, the car is insured, and they can just be happy that the car is safe rather than in their garage. And we do get some requests like that where people have these very valuable automobiles. Say, Dick, I really don't feel comfortable with having this car in my garage. Would you want to put it on display? We have a lot of celebrity stuff goes on. We did a concert here a year ago. Jeff Beck, Jimmy Vaughn, Billy Gibbons, and Michael Anthony, all on the same stage at the same time. And none of them have ever played together before, but they all had wanted to play with each other at one time or another. So it was a crazy night. So we do stuff like that. We have an 18,000 square foot facility here on the top of our parking structure. We do a lot in education here, and that's the main purpose for our being. We do field trips with the kids. We limit it to 200 children a day on those days because we found any more than that, it gets a little chaotic. And they come through here. And we use the museum and the automobile as a tool to teach certain principles and things to these kids. There's lots of ways to have a revenue stream and also to be true to your mission as an educational institution.
Closed captioning provided by
My name is Chris Brown. I'm the Information and Marketing Manager at Petersen Automotive Museum, right at the corner of Wilshire and Fairfax in sunny Los Angeles. The Treasures of the Vault is an exhibit that we do from time to time. We have over 300 cars in our collection, and we don't have the space to display all of them at one time. We tend to rotate exhibits in and out. We also like to do that to keep things fresh. So the Treasures of the Vault are the most special vehicles that we have here in our collection at the museum. There's a wide array of vehicle types here in the Treasures of the Vault exhibit, but every one of these cars is very special. The car behind me is quite a remarkable car. It's the only one on the planet. Its nickname is the Round Door Rolls. As you can see, it's got a perfectly round door. The glass kind of opens up like a fan. It's quite a unique feature on this vehicle. But what it really is a 1925 Rolls-Royce Phantom 1. Originally it was a cabriolet, and in 1935 it was rebodied. It became this car. So they took the body off, threw it away, and made this very aerodynamic shape. So it's technically a 1925/1934 Rolls-Royce Phantom 1 aerodynamic coupe. This car has got a very wild style to it. It's very fluid, it's very aerodynamic for its time. You know, it's got the fin in the back. You know, it picks up this whole kind of Art Deco detailing. It's a very imposing vehicle, 22 feet long, so it's huge. It's something that you have to experience in person because it's so big. You just can't get the sense of scale without, you know, being up close and personal with the car. The back of the car has an unusual feature. It has louvers going down the whole back of the car, and part of them you can see out of once you're inside the car. That's the only way you can see behind you. There's a small rear view mirror mounted above the windshield, and then some louvers in the back. That's the only way you can see behind you. So you really need a lot of help if you're going to drive this car. You're definitely not going to be backing it out of any driveways. The grille is unusual, and in fact, some Rolls-Royce purists don't care for it because Rolls-Royce is typically a perfectly flat stand-up grille. This one is laid back. It's very rakish, very streamlined. It's a very swoopy-looking car. So it looks like it's going fast even when it's sitting still. The door on this car, where the car gets its name, is a perfect circle. The glass in the side door pivots from the center, so it spreads open. And when it opens up, the back portion of that circle kind of tilts into the car. So it makes for a very dramatic entrance or exit anywhere you go. The first car you see is a 1948 Tucker. And it's unusual. It's got a lot of state-of-the-art for the 40s safety equipment. It has a center headlight that turns when you turn the wheels. It has seat belts, which didn't really come out until the 50s. It has an area that you dive under the dash. There's really nothing in front of you if you're a passenger. In case you get in an accident, you're supposed to dive down there. I don't know that anybody would survive that. Preston Tucker's idea was that you would have a place to go, so you would dive down instead of out of the car. But the laws of physics don't really allow you to pick where you go when you're in an accident. And the Tucker we have was Preston Tucker's personal car. They only made 50 cars plus one prototype, and his is one of the vehicles. The only thing that differentiates this Tucker from all the other Tuckers is the bright trim around the side glass, and there's a little crest of the Tucker family on the quarter panel. The Treasures of the Vault exhibit has a range of different types of vehicles that have different significance. Everything in this exhibit has some kind of story that goes along with it.
My name is Skip Marchetti. I'm Chief Curator of the Nethercutt Collection and Museum. We're located in Sylmar, California, which is about 20 miles north of Los Angeles, intersected by Interstate 5, 210, and 405. And it's very easy to get to. We have 50 to 60,000 visitors a year. The museum is free to the public. Parking is free. We also offer free guided tours of the Nethercutt collection. The Nethercutt Museum Grand Salon is an authentic replica of what a grand automobile sales salon would have been in the 20s, 30s, and 40s for the sale of great cars like Duesenberg, Rolls-Royce, Cadillacs, and Pierce Arrows. These were called automobile salons or palaces. These wonderful palaces were all over the country, like on Van Ness Avenue in San Francisco, and here in Southern California, Don Lee Cadillac and the Auburn Cord Duesenberg showroom on Wilshire Boulevard. Mr. Nethercutt and his good friend Tony Heinsbergen decided to replicate one of these grand salons to exhibit the finest cars. And we feel that they did a spectacular job. That showroom was opened to the public in 1973. It's marble floors, marble columns, crystal chandeliers, beautiful beveled mirrored walls, and it is absolutely spectacular.
Closed captioning provided by
This is the Nethercutt Collection Grand Salon. This room was designed by Mr. J.B. Nethercutt and his good friend Tony Heinsbergen to replicate a grand automobile sales salon of the 20s, 30s, and 40s. This is not unusual for an automobile sales salon of that era to be so ornate and so beautiful. This is a 1930 Cadillac V16 town car that was owned new by legendary filmmaker Cecil B. DeMille. Mr. DeMille loved automobiles. He was a driver. He loved to drive the cars. Even though it's a town car meant to be driven by a chauffeur, Mr. DeMille would drive this car often. It has a very, very interesting engine. It's a V16. I'll open the hood and show you the beauty of this engine is probably unsurpassed in automotive history. It's an engine that was styled by stylists. The ribbed valve covers, the beautiful airflow intakes, the intake manifolds are porcelain, the exhaust manifolds are porcelain, and everything is symmetrical, side to side. It looks like this side of the engine, these 8 cylinders are a mirror image of the ones on the other side. This is a wonderful car. The town car has leather front compartment, a beautiful tan wool broadcloth rear compartment with patterned, beautiful French patterned seats, very elaborate jump seats, silk shades for the rear compartment. It's just a marvelous car. This beautiful car is the most recent restoration in the Nethercutt Collection shops. It was a pretty rough restoration because most of the bodywood in the car had deteriorated to a point where it all had to be replaced. The car is a 1934 Packard LeBaron Sport Phaeton. LeBaron was a company that built bodies, and the bodies were built to order by customers, and Packard was a customer. Packard built 13 of these bodies. This beautiful body style is called a Sport Phaeton. There are no roll-up windows. There are side curtains that erect here. The top is stowed underneath this panel, and when you take these fasteners off, remove these pieces, the top folds up and comes to here. This is the second windshield. This windshield is for the comfort of your rear seat passengers. This is called a dual cowl Phaeton, and this is the second windshield. It stands up and has a nice rake to it like this windshield. This upholstery is exactly as it was when new. These ribs, the smooth, beautiful leather, the tan carpet and everything. This car has been restored to its exact as new condition, including all the wood graining on the metal portions. It's just one of the most stunning cars in the Nethercutt collection. This is a 1933 Duesenberg. The proper name for it is Arlington Torpedo Sedan. It gained a nickname of 20 grand when it was offered for sale at the 1933 Chicago World's Fair. It was offered for $20,000, so it gained the nickname 20 grand. $20,000 for an automobile was unheard of. Most automobiles of this era, 1933, you could buy a new Ford, for example, for about $500. So $20,000 was quite a bit more money. You could probably buy 2 or perhaps 3 or 4 homes for the cost of this one car in 1933. Chrome wire wheels. The interior is beautiful in every detail. Notice the silver inlay and the beautiful Art Deco style of door handles. They look like gears, and the instrument panel is fully equipped with everything, including an altimeter. Reason for the altimeter was you could adjust your carburetor for the different heights. Say you were going over a mountain, you'd want to increase the amount of air into your carburetor. This car also has a stopwatch or a chronograph. It's called a Jaeger chronograph, and they were used to, you could time your 0 to 60 speed. This one has an interesting interior also. It has armchair seats in the back to incorporate, it looks like easy chairs in the back seat. The body on this is unique. This body was custom built by Ralston and Company, Ralston Coach Builders of New York. And this body was designed by legendary designer Gordon M. Burig. Gordon designed this car as a show car, and it was a show car, and it is again a show car, meaning that it was built for the 1933 Chicago World's Fair to inhabit the space at the Duesenberg Pavilion.
Closed captioning provided by
You're watching Cars.TV.